News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
The right to privacy versus the right to know. That's the top of the Montana Supreme Court argument yesterday in Bozeman. Good morning, everyone. Montana Morning for Thursday, April 28, 2016. Sky's cloudy, it's 43 degrees, and it's my son Luke's birthday today. So, happy birthday, my boy. There you go. Little personal note. All right, our newscast this morning, sponsored by Transport Equipment, your headquarters for RV service maintenance and repair. Transport Equipment located just south of the Y. Our top story this morning, a high-profile case involving privacy rights, the University of Montana, the Montana University System, and specifically former Grizzly quarterback Jordan Johnson came to a head at Montana Supreme Court hearing yesterday at MSU in Bozeman. During the hearing, the legal team for the university system argued that the Montana Constitution's right-to-know provision is for Montana citizens, not necessarily Jon Krakauer, who is from Colorado. Krakauer's attorney Mike Malloy disagreed.
What seemed to be odd to me about the argument is that the university seemed to be giving Jordan Johnson, who came from Oregon, I don't know whether he was a resident or non-resident, but protecting his privacy, and at the same time suggesting that Mr. Krakauer, who comes from Colorado, didn't have standing to request a document under the same constitutional provisions.
The case centered on Krakauer in more ways than one. Montana Supreme Court justices questioned Malloy on whether or not Krakauer's profession and intent should be given equal weight with other groups.
The right to privacy requires the demonstration of a compelling state interest, and Mr. Krakauer, irrespective of his residency, is a private individual. He's an author writing a book for profit, as opposed to, say, an advocacy group against sexual violence coming forward seeking this information. I mean, in terms of demonstrating the compelling state interest and assessing the merits of the public disclosure, doesn't that factor in?
A ruling in favor of Krakauer could harm the university system's access to federal financial aid programs. The Montana Supreme Court is also accepting public comment on a proposal to lower the score that aspiring attorneys need to pass the bar exam in Montana. The Montana Board of Bar Examiners petitioned the Supreme Court to raise the passing score by 10 points a few years ago. The change was made in 2013, partly because only a handful of states had bar exam passing scores equal to or lower than Montana's, which was 260. The board didn't want Montana to have the reputation as being an easy place to pass the bar. University of Montana Law School Dean Paul Kurgis said the percentage of UM Law School grads passing the bar on the first try fell from 88% prior to 2013 to below 70%. He proposed reducing the passing score to 266. Missoula County Jail was built back in the 1990s with a capacity of 400 inmates, but the jail is now overcrowded, many times with those suffering from mental health issues that might not require incarceration. Missoula County Sheriff T.J. McDermott has been working on a jail diversion plan drafted by State Senator Cynthia Wolkin, which was presented to a Missoula City Council committee this week.
We wanted to study the problem and, in the course of doing that, identify a population in the jail that is nonviolent, non-dangerous, those specifically suffering from addiction issues or those with mental health issues, and try to find a way, rather than building a new jail, to divert those folks from jail into treatment centers and hospitalization.
McDermott said he's now in the process of presenting the diversion plan to various officials and then to the public so that work can begin to actually bring positive changes about.
We will make a presentation to the entire City Council at a meeting. There will be a public comment period there. And then we'll also do a presentation for the Board of County Commissioners, and then there'll be some public comment as well there.
The master plan's available for your viewing on our website at newstalkkgvo.com. State officials say they'll seek help from the legislature to address the frustrations of Boulder residents upset over the impending closure of a residential facility for the developmentally disabled. An advisory council convening in Boulder yesterday heard a slate of proposals from the governor's office, including the possibility of asking legislators for $500,000 for a development fund to help keep Boulder's economy afloat. The Montana Developmental Center employs scores of the town's residents. The Montana Public Service Commission is considering changing the rules for when electric service can be shut off for non-payment during the winter. The proposed rules include shortening the winter moratorium, which currently runs from November 1st through April 1st to 3 months with more conditions. Utilities would not be allowed to shut off service to anyone from December 1st through February if the account has a delinquent balance of less than $200. Power could not be disconnected on days when the temperature is below 20 degrees at 8 a.m. The current rule is 32 degrees. Every 15 minutes, a high school-age student in the U.S. experiences an injury or death due to distracted driving. That image was brought home powerfully to students at Loyola High School yesterday through the Ghost Out program chosen by Hannah Henning and Emma Franz as their senior project. Franz explains.
If our entire population was limited to just the school, 15 people would be fatally injured, or every 15 minutes somebody would be fatally injured or die. So 24 or so students of this entire school and one teacher would have died in this day. Every
15 minutes, Missoula County Undersheriff and Coroner Jason Johnson went to a classroom and called out a student who was made up to look as though they had died due to distracted driving, and then those students spent the rest of the day in school as a ghost.
That crash scene is a very difficult thing, obviously, to be involved in, but as a first responder, it's a difficult thing to go to and to deal with. What's much more difficult is then going to the home of the family of the person who passed away and notifying the family that their son or daughter is dead.
The day's events were sponsored in part by the Missoula Forum for Children and Youth. By the way, the Missoula County Sheriff's Office donated $1,000 to help yesterday's activities continue. Senator Steve Daines yesterday urged Department of Interior Secretary Sally Jewell to tour Colstrip and the Crow Reservation during her upcoming travel to Montana.
Secretary Jewell needs to hear directly from the people impacted by the Department of Interior's actions and come to the communities like Colstrip and the Crow Reservation to see what it means for Montana families. We've already seen layoffs in coal communities across our state as a result of the Obama administration's war on coal. I encourage Secretary Jewell to meet with the folks in Colstrip and the Crow Tribe to hear directly from them about the impact of her anti-coal regulations on Montana families, Montana tribal members, and our state's economy.
As of now, Jewell has no plan to travel to towns in Montana that rely on coal. Daines recently voiced his opposition about Jewell's decision to exclude Montanans during the proposed review of their moratorium on coal leasing. Finally, two brothers escaped injury when their car struck and killed a bison near West Yellowstone. The Highway Patrol said the brothers, ages 26 and 17, were northbound on U.S. Highway 191 about 10:15 Tuesday night when they hit the adult bison. Trooper Marcus Cook said their car was pretty well smashed to bits, but they were wearing their seatbelts, the airbags deployed, and the brothers were not injured. Our News Talk time now is 6:12.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Mostly cloudy skies today with a chance of an afternoon shower. Highs will be in the upper 50s. Tonight, isolated showers, lows in the mid-30s. An increasing chance of wet weather with thunderstorms for Friday. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for KECI 13.